There's two games coming up for England, United States and Trinidad. What do you see as the main purpose of those games?
Main purpose is to get the players together, maybe for Capello to try one or two things that he's got in the back of his mind. The last few maybe things, because he has experimented quite a bit in the games, which is quite what you would expect. You know, he's got this chance to keep the players together at the end of the season, and obviously then once the new season starts, we get down to the real stuff. So I think he'll probably be finalising one or two, or if anything's that he wants to try out in his head, maybe look at one or two new players, and basically sort of get players finishing on a good note, maybe a couple of nice results, hopefully, and hopefully finish the season off on a good note, so we get down to the real business.
If we look at the English goalkeeping situation at the moment, there's potential that perhaps the number one spot is still up for grabs in the long term. Where do you stand on the state of English goalkeeping and who should be our number one?
Well, I think we've got quite a few goalkeepers in the frame now. Young goalkeepers coming through. Quite a few keepers playing in the Premier League, which we didn't have a few years back. I mean, there's a lot of foreign goalkeepers playing. So there are more goalkeepers around for us to look at. But I just feel at the moment, the fact that David James has actually got back into the England team, having sort of lost his place through inconsistency and making silly errors, and the fact that he's had such a great season at Portsmouth, and he's still obviously at that age where he will be around for the next World Cup. For him actually to get back in the team, I think you've got to look at the keepers. I mean, Paul Robinson obviously had a crisis of confidence with Spurs struggling badly at the beginning of the season. He made one or two errors for England. He had the misfortune of the ball going over his foot in the Croatia match, which wasn't his fault, but obviously people remember that. And he sort of has lost his place through that. But I think overall his record wasn't too bad for England. Carson came in, big chance in a big game. First thing he has to do, he makes an horrendous error, but then makes a fantastic save to equal that up in the second half. But nobody remembers that. They always remember the mistake. So you can't dismiss him. Ben Foster obviously was doing exceptionally well until he had this injury that's put him out for nearly a year. So he's obviously coming back. And the other keepers are obviously, Robert Green and Kirtland, people like that. But there's nobody that I could say, yes, I would definitely be 100% confident of the consistency. What I think we've got now is goalkeepers who maybe make a mistake every 2 or 3 games for England, whereas you want one that's going to make one every season or season and a half, and that's what you want at the international level.